Hello, today I will be making this fabric scrap basket. I came up with this idea when I was recently invited to a baby shower. I knew I wanted to DIY something and this idea popped into my head. I really didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I really like the result and I can't wait to give it to my friend as a gift. So let's get started. For supplies, you'll need scissors. Any pair will do. Ruler. I prefer this one because it has a raised edge. It makes it much easier to cut with a rotary blade. And then you'll need 2 different coordinating fleece fabrics. You can use all one color, but the coordinating looks really good. And then a rotary blade. So I use this one. It's Westcott Titanium, and it works really well. It's starting to get a little dull now, but I have replacement blades, and I did have to replace my blade after doing this project. Okay, so first you're going to fold the fabric in half and measure it at 4 inches long. And then you're going to cut that piece on the unfolded side. And then you're going to use your ruler. My ruler is about 1 inch wide, and you're going to use that as a guide to cut the pieces of fabric into slices. And when you unfold them, you're going to get 8 inches, but you're going to cut that in half, so altogether it's going to be a 4 inch by 1 inch piece of fleece. So I just continue to do this, and I did this in bouts because it's really hard on your hands. So I would just make a pile, use up the pile, and then make another pile, and this made me not only not waste any pieces and not cut extra, but it also saved my hands from cramping up. I used about 70 pieces in total, so it is a lot. I would advise using a smaller basket. So this is my basket. I got it from the thrift store. Like I said, it's pretty big, and we're going to start at the bottom of the wire basket. And we're going to wrap the fleece around the bottom middle, and we're starting at the middle because this will let you disperse the colors more easily, and as well it allows you to get the fleece close together because it starts to get very thick, so you'll be able to get it closer together this way, and you'll be able to get most of the wire, not miss a lot of it. So you're just going to continue at the bottom of the basket, working outward, and you want the fleece to face you. We want this in the top of the bottom of the basket, if that makes sense. We don't want it at the bottom because it'll be very difficult for it to sit straight if you put it on the opposite side. So we're going to just keep going with this, and it's okay if you miss some spots. We'll go back and we'll fix that up later. So for now, just keep wrapping them, just tying a knot in the wire, and it took about 2 to 3 pieces of fleece to wrap around each wire. And there isn't much of a pattern to this. I'm not worried about the same colors being next to each other so much as just making sure I don't see any gaps. It took me a long time to do this, and I suggest trying it on a smaller basket. Like I said, I used fleece because it doesn't fray like other fabrics and has a lot of stretch to it, but it definitely did have a lot of fabric particles go into the air and was actually coughing by the end of it, so I definitely recommend doing this in a well ventilated room. But it's still definitely worth it. No matter how much hard work I put into it, it's definitely worth it. I think the result is amazing. You won't see something like this in a store. So I just continue to go along and work through this. I used a light pink and a dark pink because it's a girl for the baby shower, so I thought that would be a really cute idea. So this took me about 2 yards of fleece. It actually was a little more than that, but if you use even slightly smaller of a basket, it'll probably only be 2 yards. So I would advise actually just saving fabric scraps, putting them to the side, maybe cutting them down to the size you want. If you already have your basket, you can decide if you're going to make it 4 inches by 1 inch like I did, or maybe a little longer, and depending on your fabric too, if it's stretchy, that'll help determine that. But just keep cutting the fabric in pieces anytime you get extra random pieces of fabric, and put them in a big bowl or a jar, and when you have about 50 or more, you can start the project, and that'll be a lot cheaper in the long run than going out and buying fleece like I did. I think if you got a basket in the store for a baby shower, it would probably cost less actually than what this cost me, but the impact on this and just the wow factor was really worth it. But if you're trying to save money, this isn't one of those DIYs where it's gonna save you money unless you're actually saving scraps throughout, you know, your sewing and your crafting, and then eventually making this DIY. Alright, so here it is, almost all done. As you can see, it's very fluffy and it's very tight together, the pieces of fabric. And the bottom sits pretty flat as long as you fold the fabric the right way. And here I'm just going to finish up the little bit that I didn't do. I wasn't sure if I wanted to wrap the handles of the basket, but in the end I decided not to because I thought it would be easier to carry the basket and hold it, and I think it looks good without wrapping the handles. But you definitely could, and all baskets are different, so they might not even have handles, or if they do, they might be a lot larger or sticking up, and then you might want to wrap them. I was really excited at this point to get this done because it took me about 2 hours per day, about 2 to 3 days I think it took me. I think about 3 days it took me. Just like I said, a few hours a day, and I just wanted to touch up those little missing wire pieces to make it look better, and then it's done. And it looks really cute, and I put a bunch of baby shower gifts in it, and it's just perfect for a girl's room. I definitely recommend doing this project. Thank you, and I hope you try it out. Let me know. Bye.